Hello everyone! This is a video of first of a series where I will talk to you about how I set up my motorbike for some serious off-road riding. This time I will talk to you about how I set up the most important control area of the motorbike, the handlebar. Well, no question, every little detail on the motorbike must be set perfect for a nice ride, but since our hands are the most sensitive parts to control the bike, and at the hands we have the most things to move around, this is the most important thing to set up perfectly. First, you must find the position of the handlebar, how much forward or how much backward you rotate it. Since you are riding serious off-road, you must try to set up your bike as close as possible to the motocross riding style. You know, when the guys have this very aggressive attack position on the motorbike. But since we are adventure riders mostly, or at least dual sport riders, it's very important that you can keep your position all the day riding. So riding all the day in this heavy and strong attack position is not really comfortable. What is the solution? I think the best when you try to find your sweet spot where you can control your motorbike on the difficult section very good with your body position, but at the same time it is not as extreme position as the motocross rider have. I think it depends mostly on your physical condition. So this is why my neutral position on this motorbike is a little bit too upright. It's supposed to be a little bit more forward, but hey, I am weakling. And yes, this sweet position depends on many things. How tall are you? How long your legs, your hands are? So this must be find out for yourself. And this position will change over time when you change your riding style. A bit more aggressive when you learn more off-road riding, or when you come from motocross, you want to ride a little bit more easy, so you will stand a little bit more upright. Well, this will come. But first, let's start with the neutral position of the handlebar. And where is this neutral position? Well, it's not too forward, not too backward. There it is. No, to be honest, just check here my diagram. You can see here what I mean about neutral position. Certainly, if you ride much more aggressive off-road, you push a little bit forward, but in this case you will lose some control on the fast lines. And when you put your handlebar too much backward, what I see by many adventure riders, and it's not good, believe me, even if it's comfortable, when you bend too much backward and down your handlebar in this position, you will be not able to control the motorbike with your whole body as perfect as you control your motorbike in this position when your whole shoulder is together with your arms. Once you found the perfect position or the neutral position for your handlebar, let's see how to set up the levers. Yeah, this is maybe even more important than where is your handlebar, because when your levers are too much high, then your hands are simply not comfortable to control them when you ride uphill. But when your levers are set too low, then you are not able to control the brake downhill. Yeah, be honest to yourself. The most important thing when you go downhill, the front brake handling. And when you go downhill and your wrist is like this angle, and your motorbike front hits some ditch or some hole on the road or some rock, then your body moves forward and your whole wrist just makes like this. And this can be painful, also can cause some unnecessary braking power. So yeah, you know what I mean. And yes, where is this sweet point? I think it's just a little bit below this end of the handlebar. you never must go too deep or too high, because you will not able to control the levers in every body position you need to take in the serious off-road riding. So here is a strange tip for extremists like me. You need to control the brake, more importantly downhill, so it's supposed to be a little bit higher. But when you go uphill, then you don't need to control your front brake almost ever. You can just hold your handlebar with your whole palm and no need to brake. But you still need to control the clutch, because not controlling the clutch when you ride serious off-road, it's just no go. Just don't do that. So here is my strange setting. I set my clutch a little bit lower than my brake. Yeah, this seems first strange, and it takes time to get accustomed to it. This way I can control my brake in very backward body position, and I can still control my clutch when I go steep uphills, and I just release the brake lever to have full control on the throttle. Next, setting up the angle of the levers is also super important. When you set up your lever too much outward, then you will pull it with your first part of your finger. In this position, you can easily just let slip out the clutch, and you will get some unnecessary extra into the bushes. Yeah. And when you control your brake like this, you will not be able to control with adequate power when you use it with one finger. Yes, on the other hand, when you set your levers too much in, too close to your hands, then yeah, it will be not working perfectly, because the clutch will slip all the time. You will have difficulties to stop with the motorbike without slowly rolling forward, and you cannot brake strong enough with your lever. So where is the sweet point here? You must pull, and you must pull, because if you don't do this, it's just against the laws of physics. So yes, your fingers pulling power and most precise control is from this position with the second part of your finger, from here up to here. Well, there are a little bit more about this, because on the brake, when I want to use some slow speed, easy and very precise braking, I just use the brake lever the most inner part as possible with one finger, because when I accidentally give too much braking in very slow, then you know, you fall, as I do. So just use as most inner as possible with a single finger. But when I need a bigger braking power, I use two fingers for it. Then in this case you will have super extreme power. You don't need to use on your brake lever more fingers than two, never ever on any bikes. But when I ride some serious off-road, then I don't use two fingers for the strong brakings. I know that I will ride on a super extreme part, so a little bit I move my hand on the handlebar outside, and this way I will be able to use a one finger braking on the outer side of the lever. And you know, physics, you can pull it much stronger like this. On the clutch lever, yes, it's all the same. You must use your second part of your finger all the time. Yeah, you can start a little bit from the edge of the first part if your clutch travel is a little bit too much, but not too wide out yet again, because when it's too wide out, your last part of the clutch function will be uncontrolled, and yeah, uncontrolled clutch. It makes funny things. Yes, on the clutch, I use all my fingers when I ride easy on the road or just some lazy sections of the trip, or when I just change the gear. Simple, when no obstacle around on the dirt roads. I control the lever with 2 fingers. You need to control the clutch at the same time when you need to control the handlebar too. In this case, your 2 fingers can hold the handlebar and the other 2 fingers just can control the levers. This is optimal in most of the situations. And yes, there are some extreme situations when you must control your handlebar very strong. It can happen on any terrain, any position. And for this, you should use 3 fingers to control it. And one finger still keep on the control levers, because you never know in the situations when you need a little bit brake or when you need a little bit clutch. And yes, controlling the clutch lever with 1 finger is very, very heavy, especially on a whole long journey all the time. So I always spare power for these extreme situations, whenever just possible, using 2 fingers to control the levers. Of course, if you are super strong and you have great muscles in your fingers, then use all the time your 1 finger solution to control the levers. But hey, I'm a weakling, so I must do whatever I have to. We got still one more very important control unit on the handlebar, the throttle. You must all the time ride with clean and easy running throttle. When it's sticky, when it's not functioning all the way very nicely, or when your free play on the throttle is not enough, then set it up. Never ever ride on serious off-road with sticky throttle. There are many other control things on the handlebar. I will not talk about this. You will know when you need a navigation control unit, or you need something motorbike control thingy, all supposed to be as close as your hand as possible. Yeah, just set these things up as you prefer. There is no rules about this for serious off-road riding. Yeah, maybe except punting. When you use navigation control unit on the handlebar, this is supposed to be the primary and not the light control units. Well, it's not a control unit, but a very, very important thing on your handlebar. Should you protect it with some kind of protection or not? I made a little video about my preferences and the things that I use a full strongest handguard, even made of steel instead of aluminum. The main problem with these whole handguards, the one point is attached to the end of the handlebar, but the other end is attached on the handlebar on the inner side. And as you can see here, all the handling unit parts, the clutch, the brake holder and everything, the cables, are in just a way. And as Cristiano Marelli mentioned it to me, his handguard, he used the same guard as I do, at the crashes just bent upward and almost crashed his reservoir and the cables at the brake lever. And yeah, this could be some serious problem. Here you can see my solution for this. I just removed some edges from the holders, and I just tried to move the handlebars in the position where it's the farther from the control units, but still you can see it's pretty close. So the fear is real. It's protecting and also dangerous at the same time. My solution for this was I just fix as hard as possible this end of the handguard, not to let roll up and down. But even if it happens, I use some Teflon tapes under the clamps of my handling units. So this way, when normally I use it, it just stays in the position, it never bends. But when it gets some really hard hit, because of the slippery Teflon, it just moves instead of breaking. So yeah, this is my solution for this. Other solution, maybe you don't use handguard at all and use Teflon just like I do. In this case, when you crash your motorbike, your control units probably will not break, but only probably. Because when I was riding back in the days like this, I usually braked 1 or 2 clutch and brake levers in a year. And since I ride with this motorbike, and yeah, I knocked some wood to prevent further damage, so I didn't break any of the levers yet. And my other solution for this, I use these levers which ones just moving in every direction possible when I drop the bike and it needs to be bent. But yeah, this is not 100% protection either. So whatever you choose, it's best to keep spare parts in your bags in case anything happens with your levers. So this is it for today. If you have any comment or you have some question, just write down below. I will answer for sure. And I hope you like this video and see you next time. Ciao!